Hi everyone, Drini here, and welcome to my channel. So we're going to do a quick Bitcoin and market update today because while the markets had a nice bounce back from a capitulation attempt yesterday, it really still remains to be seen where could we potentially go. The markets really have a way of confusing all of us, and this confusion, if handled incorrectly, can really result in either you opting out of the market and failing to enjoy the gains and or failing to enjoy the opportunities presented moving forward. So today what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the charts just to see where we are, map out all of the key scenarios, and I will share with you my plan as to how I'm navigating through this very confusing time. And let's dive in. So what I have here is I have the chart of Bitcoin on a daily time frame, and if you notice, we fell through the ascending channel right here, tried to go back down to the downside, but we managed to rally back up, back into the channel, and right now we are meeting the 21 EMA as resistance right here. So a lot of people yesterday during this capitulation right here were already calling for a bear flag, where once we continue to break here, what's going to happen is eventually you have a technical target of the height of this particular pole right here. In this case, the technical target for this bear flag, if this plays out, is around $20,000. While it's very easy to identify the particular pattern right here, to be honest, this is very simplistic because what happened was back in the capitulation during the May period, this technically was also a bear flag right here with a particular technical target of around $14,000. And as you can see, this didn't really pan out because once again, the pattern was invalidated once we started going back to the upside. So this particular short-term action right here where we have an ascending channel and we managed to go back up, this is perfectly well and good. I'm not too concerned about this from a bearish standpoint. What I'm worried about is when you go to the weekly time frame right here, if we continue to be rejected on this EMA structure, whether the 21 or the 55 EMA, what will happen is we will eventually form a bearish cross right here on a weekly time frame. The thing to note about bearish crosses on a weekly time frame is they don't happen often. So the fact that if this is going to happen anytime soon, what that means is do expect some capitulation or some major capitulation before we bounce back up. This was the last time where we had a weekly time frame death cross. This one as well was a weekly time frame death cross, but by the time we got here, we already had the March 2020 capitulation. So the capitulation preceded the cross. Once again, when you have a weekly death cross right here, it typically signals a major capitulation to the downside. So that is the bearish case. What about the bullish case? So the bullish case is we are still hovering in this our ascending channel structure that we started building since January of 2021. And people were calling for bear flags here, right? But over a giant macro time frame, if you lay down to when the March capitulation happened all the way now, we are actually standing on a giant bull flag on a much larger time frame where if we break up to the upside, we do have a technical target of a lot. This technical target is around $863,000 for Bitcoin. While I do not dispute the fact that we will get there eventually, it will definitely not be anytime soon. So if you ask me which scenario will play out, will the bullish structure play out or will the bearish structure play out? To be honest with you, I really don't know what's going to happen in the future. Because technical analysis is not being right. Technical analysis is being prepared. So personally, I do think that we are still in this running flat correction before the subsequent move to the upside. But the way I'm preparing my strategies moving forward is I am assuming that a bear market scenario is heavily at play here and a capitulation period is definitely in the cards and should not be blindly discounted. While I can't tell you what to do, of course, because this is not financial advice, I'm going to share with you my strategy moving forward based on what's in front of us. The first thing to note is when you have a death cross on a weekly time frame, capitulation doesn't happen quickly. So in this case, since the cross right here before the capitulation, it actually took around 9 weeks or so in order for the capitulation to happen. So 7 to 9 weeks or so. So let's say put it here. So we had around 2 months to sort of prepare ourselves before the eventual downside correction. When we go to the previous cycle, after the cross happened right here, then before the eventual bottom that happened we had 10 weeks to prepare for this particular correction right here. Also, another thing to note is when we have major capitulation events like this, where you have established bottoms, what tends to happen is not only do you have a preparation period before the capitulation, you also have major sideways action for a while before things pick back up. So not only do we have 10 weeks, we actually have 42 weeks plus 10 in order to accumulate as much as we can before the next leg up during a bear market before. In this case, we also had 23 weeks plus 7 to accumulate as much as we can before the subsequent move up. So this is one of the reasons why in our doomsday scenario video that I talked about before, even in a bear market scenario, it actually doesn't matter. It's not as bad as you think it is. But now that we know that we do have a lot of time to prepare, what is my strategy moving forward? Let's say my portfolio value across crypto and the rest of the altcoin space and our gaming cryptos is roughly around here. So let's say that my average price for my portfolio is around here. So the first thing is, will I cash out of this position now because there is a possibility of a bear market? The answer to that is no. Because if I cash out now, there is still a chance that I may be wrong and suddenly things pick back up like this and we proceed to now higher highs and eventually go to all-time highs. If I cash out now in anticipation of a single scenario, what if it breaks the other way? Then I will be caught with my pants down. So instead, personally, what I will be doing moving forward is this particular investment right here will stay in place. So this is pretty much my moon bag right here, where regardless of what happens to the market, bullish or bearish, I have a position which I don't mind holding for a long period of time. However, what I have done recently is actually, because of this particular uncertainty right here, I have stopped DCAing into the market and I'm currently collecting as much cash as I can in anticipation of two potential scenarios. If we break down to the downside, then I know that this significant cash position would be waiting for the major capitulation to the downside. So this particular portfolio right here plus this particular portfolio right here will now be the basis of my new portfolio for the next leg up, which will happen sometime in the future. And if this capitulation happens, it will take a while for us to really get back to bullish continuation. But you may be wondering though, what if we break up to the upside? What's going to happen to this cash position that we will be accumulating for the next 2, 3, 4 months? If the capitulation doesn't happen, what's going to happen to this? So this is where we change strategies a bit, because remember, if we break up to the upside, what's going to happen here is this moon bag position will already start profiting in the first place. So the moon bags will start to really profit. You will have multiples involved when it comes to this particular position right here. So this particular moon bag will now be spent with other assets in the crypto space. Because nowadays, remember, it's not just the coins that you need to buy. There are also a lot of NFT assets for the particular gaming cryptos that we need to invest in. There's land for certain projects, some of the NFT assets like packs, cards, characters, etc. So overall, at the end of the day, I have stopped DCAing into the market right now. We are currently accumulating a cash position to be spent either on NFTs or land or any gaming assets or any crypto assets. If we break up to the upside, if we go down, of course, then we continue to accumulate the relevant gaming tokens, Bitcoin, and the crypto coins out there so that we can reinforce our base position, which we have established by properly having investing principles, so that you combine this portfolio with either of the two strategies in order for us to hopefully have a better financial future once things pick back up.